You know, this week, I think we're going to go for something a little more upmarket, a little more high quality, more popular. No, not that. A tad smaller. No, not that, but I'll get to that eventually. Okay, now you're just going in the wrong direction entirely. I'll give you a hint. It's a story about teenagers, talking animals, the occasional fire being started. Sounds like my last convention. This week we look at Sandra and Wu. The plot for Sandra and Wu focuses on the eponymous characters, as each works through their lives. With Sandra having to deal with the beginnings of a love life and the general thoughts of growing up, while Wu has to deal with the trials and tribulations of being part of the animal kingdom. Sandra North is a slightly typical 12-year-old girl. While she can be childish, especially with anything to do with Cloud, she does have a large amount of maturity compared to others her age, also enjoying things that people would not expect, like Frank Sinatra. Wu is Sandra's pet, who accidentally reveals he can talk, along with basically every other animal on the planet. His time is split between his friends in the forest, as well as his girlfriend Lily, and spending time with Sandra, often being overfed and enjoying the comfort being a pet for a human entails. In earlier comics, he can range from being extremely troublesome and a nuisance, but he does begin to mature, finding a level of self-restraint against his more animal instincts. Considering the character, I've got to wonder if he's at all related from that cartoon I used to watch as a kid. What the hell was it called?
Simple except for raccoon.
Oh, yeah, that. How the hell did I forget that name? Cloud Williams, as you can guess, was named after the character for Final Fantasy. Though considering he was named for this, he looks kind of more like... Or actually like... And he does whine like... And just because I want to, here's a clip of Final Fantasy X to round out that collection. Though all mocking aside, he's a dangerous fighter due to the training his mother has put him through, defending not just Sandra and Larissa, but others at his school from bullies, even taking on people twice his size. While in these moments he's calm and cool, he's still at heart a child, worrying over the smallest things and coming to terms with his lacking knowledge of girls, or in his case, one, Sandra. Larissa Korolev, on the other hand, is not your typical 12-year-old. A good way to put it is that she's a little like Willy Wonka. And I don't mean this one.
It out. Makes it light. It's rough.
I mean this one.
Bis punitor delicatum. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
She could probably be considered a genius if not for her slight destructive streak or the manipulation of others for her own gain. While she can be a good and loyal friend, her impulsive nature does mean she gets into trouble, whether it's with her parents and teachers or her own friends, though the latter are occasionally less tolerant of her actions. The art for the comic, even from the get-go, is quite excellent, though it does appear much better later on, which I can only attribute to the artwork looking cleaner and less overly detailed where it wasn't necessary, making it easy to take in. Even the character models get cleaned up, though this could be a part of the characters becoming older, as the early comics have Sandra looking slightly more stocky compared to the more recent comics, where she appears thinner in comparison. While the comic is in black and white for most of the time, it does occasionally switch to colour, and when it does, it's glorious, looking even better than it did in black and white. It also feels unfortunate that the comic is not constantly presented that way. The writing for the comic can be a little mixed, in my opinion. At times it can be short and sweet, while other moments have what seem like walls of text, though the dimensions of the comics do come into play somewhat on that. While a lot of the jokes in the comic are slightly childish, obviously due to the main cast being children, it does occasionally handle bigger issues while keeping the reader interested. A lot of these coming from the nature-based perspective due to Sandra and Wu's love of nature. Oh, and for anyone who likes a challenge, this comic also comes in German. So if you want to keep someone from reading over your shoulder, or you want to have a legitimate reason to practice your German, there you go. Starting in 2008 and still running as of this video, Sandra and Wu updates Mondays and Thursdays. That was a long one. Oh, looks like there's also another comic they do. Well, I guess we'll have to look at that next time. So I hope you'll once again join me for another look into the wide world of webcomics. I've got to admit, this isn't a very funny way to end out the video. Need something raccoon related. I know.
Well, at least the TV gets decent reception. Huh, must be some kind of nature show. Help! Help! Get off! Get off! Ah!
This is the evergreen forest. Quiet, peaceful, serene. That is until Bert Raccoon wakes up. Luckily, he has some good friends to help him out. Life would be simple in the forest except for Cyril's sneer.